What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So hopefully everyone who celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday had a great time, ate some good food, hung out with the family, but today we have some gaming news to go over, which does include Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl's massive opening week. We also have Halo Infinite to talk about, as more controversy has hit this game, specifically though around this new event that they are running, and we're also going to talk about that big Black Friday, Cyber Monday eShop sale that went live. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all of the uploads here on the channel. And we're gonna start today with Mario Golf Super Rush. Came out over the summer, and Nintendo had said that free updates would be rolling out for this game as they went along through the coming months. And it looks like the final update is now live. We can see this over on their patch notes page. This is update 4.0.0, which, by the way, if we look at the update history very quickly, we had an update June, August, September, and November. So they were pretty consistent. And I guess just 5 months later, they're now done patching this game and adding content. Let's take a look at what they added. That includes 2 new playable characters. We have Wiggler and Shy Guy, 2 new golf courses, Shelltop Sanctuary and All-Star Summit, and then 2 new game modes. We have Target Golf and 1 on, 1 putt, as well as several game balance adjustments and just general patch notes and fixes. And the obvious thing here is, could this have been content that was just released when the game came out? I mean, from the outside looking in, it kind of feels like that, yeah, they could have done that, since one update came just like a week after the game released. But the way I see it is, they could have even waited months later, like now, and then just released the full game, because remember, some of the stuff is just downloads. It's not on the cartridge, and there's quite a bit of content there, actually. In fact, Mario Tennis, after all the stuff was added, felt like it was a more worthwhile purchase overall. Kind of looking at Mario Golf the same way. Let me know if you prefer Nintendo to release a game earlier and then patch in content as they go along, or just wait and release everything on the cartridge. Also, we have some unfortunate news for Neo The World Ends With You. We can see this over on Nintendo Life, saying Neo The World Ends With You has underperformed expectations, Square Enix says. This was in a newly published results briefing covering the first half of the financial year. The company notes that net sales and operating income within its digital entertainment business have fallen year on year. According to them, Neo The World Ends With You was well received by users. It has underperformed our initial expectations. And people are looking for a lot of reasons as to why this happened online. And I mean, first and foremost, the fan base around The World Ends With You, it's small, it's niche. This isn't like a Final Fantasy or Persona or even a Shin Megami Tensei, nothing like that. So the sales were gonna be small no matter what, but Square didn't exactly do the best job marketing this game. And I mean, the release, it was a couple of weeks, from what I remember, after Skyward Sword HD had come out, and we were talking about Monster Hunter Stories 2, and we were all looking forward to things like Tales of Arise. So I feel like the poor marketing, as well as everything going on around it, kind of buried this game in the first place. But I guess you can at least say fans of the original World Ends With You did get a sequel that, to be honest, a lot of them weren't really expecting in the first place. So there's that. Oh, and here's a fun update. I talked about this on the second channel with a couple of different PS3 games that required online servers going back up, thanks to a group of fans who were trying to get their multiplayer PS3 games back online. And take a look at this, because it appears that PlayStation Home is back online this year. And again, I just talked about this, but now there are videos popping up of people testing out this new setup for PlayStation Home on the PS3. This is thanks to Destination Home team working in tandem with the PS1 emulation team. You can go on their website and they'll explain how to set all this up, kind of changing around your DNS settings. And they're doing a lot of testing with PlayStation Home now, and it was just really funny to see these videos pop back up, because obviously a lot of memories and nostalgia around this one. But I also kind of think that Sony is working up a new PlayStation Home for use with their next VR headset. All of this we'll probably see next year, but really cool to see that PlayStation Home, or just PS3 online games in general, are making a return. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Halo Infinite and their latest event, because once again, more controversy has hit this game. It's incredible stuff, because 343 has figured out what people would say is the hardest part around a game. The game itself, like the gameplay, how things feel in the game, the shooting mechanics, all of this people seem to really like them, and it's very polished. But something they're having such a hard time figuring out comes down to the progression system and the challenges. That's something that people have brought up since this beta released, and they've worked with it somewhat, basically making the challenges a little easier, just more attainable. So you don't have to pick a specific mode that you can't necessarily pick right now because it's all quick play. That's a whole thing there. But now they have a new event. It's one of their Fracture events, and it's kind of cool because the cosmetics they're showing off for the armor is like samurai themed, and it's something that people are obviously trying to work towards. There's one problem. It's very difficult to work towards these things. In fact, we're to the point now where articles are popping up all over the place detailing this. For example, this one was very, very well done. We can see it over on Forbes from Paul Tassi. Halo Infinite might be throwing the worst live event I've ever seen, and I kind of have to agree with that. And it comes down to several factors that were outlined here, but ones that I've been going through myself as I've been playing hours and hours on end since this event went live, trying to work through all these levels to get to obviously the final setup there where you get the really cool armor and the shoulder pieces and they have like a little sword you kind of attach to your front belt. But there's one problem. You don't progress with experience. Every time you get a challenge, you complete it, you go up a level, which is great. Problem is, from what I can tell, there's not going to be enough of these event challenges during this week to finish it. So at that point, I have to wait till January and then till the next time that it comes back up, which I think is a month later after that, to try to complete this entire lineup. And the weird thing is, you'll be going through, you'll get a challenge. It's like straightforward. Get a killing spree in Fiesta, which the Fiesta game mode has always been fun. It's been a blast since back in the day. So you'll go in there, you'll work out your different challenges, but you might lose that challenge for the Fiesta game mode and just get a regular one in there that's really annoying, like win 3 stronghold matches. And it's like, okay, here's hoping I can get a stronghold match in the first place. But then on the other side, you have the cash shop. And it's constantly taunting you with some really cool looking samurai equipment and gear that's not part of the battle pass. The entire time you're just trying to work towards level 5 so you can get something. See, because half this event battle pass are experience boosters and challenge skips. So I get an experience booster to then try to gain more experience, but not towards the event battle pass, towards my regular battle pass. And it's just, it doesn't look like 343 understands how to make all of this work. I mean, it's in a beta now, so they at least are very transparent about this not being the full release for multiplayer, but there's a lot of stuff that has to get done by December 8th if they want to have a full rollout of this multiplayer. We need to have more defined playlists, and this whole event situation right now with Fracture, I think has to be more rewarding and a bit more straightforward than hoping a challenge rolls and shows up in your challenge list in the first place. But let me know if you've been attempting this event, as I'm seeing a lot of people online completely turned off by the way that 343 is approaching this entire thing. Next up, let's talk about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl's massive opening week in Japan. In fact, it's the second largest launch we've ever seen for a Switch title in Japan, just behind Animal Crossing. Let's take a look at the top 10 games, and we can see Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl at the top. Bit lopsided of a chart here, by the way. 1,395,642 copies. Remember, these are all physical copies and those download cards that you can buy in stores. This does not count any digital sales that were made straight from the eShop, so we don't really know what the digital ratio would be here, but you figure you can tack on another 25 to 30% most likely for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Right below that is Mario Party Superstars, 39,797. Battlefield 2042 debuting with 25,268. Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming in with 22,513. That actually has sold over 165,000 copies now in Japan. Pretty good. And then we have Battlefield 2042 on the PS5, 21,637. Ring Fit Adventure, 11,822. Then we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Minecraft on the Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Moving over to the hardware, Nintendo Switch OLED model, 68,796. The Switch, 60,512. The Switch Lite, 38,000. 470, which if you add all of those up, it does appear that the Switch has now moved past 22 million units in Japan alone, which is huge. The PS5, 4,134. We do also have the PS5 Digital Edition at 173. It just feels like Sony isn't really sending a lot of PlayStation 5s to Japan. We know there is obviously supply concerns and issues right now just in general, but then we see the Xbox Series X 2,203 with the Series S at 1,219. Then somebody found 365 Nintendo 2DS LLs in the back room, and same with the PS4 at 188. Now, in terms of Switch releases, I said it was the second best selling Switch release in Japan for its opening week. That is ahead of Sword and Shield by about 30,000 copies or so. If you go back to the original releases, like 15 years ago for Pearl and Diamond, those sold more physically at over 1.5 million units. But if we took in the digital sales into account, there is a possibility that it's actually about the same or even maybe more in favor of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's just a big opening week here for these games from ILCA. Remember, Game Freak is working on Legends right now for January, and there's a lot of pushback and controversy once again, which seems to happen every time there's a Pokemon release. This is the timeline, right? Game reveal for Pokemon, a lot of controversy online, breaking records. Seems like it's clockwork now with this whole thing. It does make me realize at times, yes, we're very detached online from the public sentiment around some of these games. And I mean, something most of us realize by now, if we've been looking at enough of these sales charts when these Pokemon games come out, is Pokemon is gonna sell. It's Pokemon. But now I'm really curious how Legends Arceus is going to do because, well, a few things. One, it's completely different from what they've done before with the Pokemon series, the tried and true formula. And two, there's only one copy of that game. I do look at times at something like a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and wonder, how many copies would this really sell if there was just one SKU and not two? And hey, I'm sure there's plenty of people who buy both of them at the same time. Is it possible that we see Arceus technically underperform because there's only one copy or because it's so different? That's something we'll keep our eyes on for January. But as for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, massive release for Pokemon, but is anyone really surprised? It's Pokemon. Next up, let's talk about the big eShop sale that is now live. We saw it start to go live in other regions, like in Europe, for example. I say, keep an eye on your eShop because you should see a big Cyber Deals sale go live, and it has. We can see this over on their website, Cyber Deals. The sale ends November 30th, right at midnight. So yeah, you're gonna wanna act quickly if there's anything on this list that catches your eye. One thing I have noticed here though, just real quick, a lot of those GameStop sales that we went over that were even physical copies were actually better than what Nintendo is doing here. Now, these are digital copies that you can buy, and obviously it might be more convenient for you to have them digitally on your Switch. So there is still some pretty good stuff to see here from Nintendo. A lot of their first-party titles being marked down. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, down to 42. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 42. Persona Strikers, actually half off at $30. Monster Hunter Rise, still a phenomenal game to pick up, $45. Super Mario Odyssey, $41.99. Then we kind of go back here to Kirby Star Allies. It is weird because that game came out so long ago, but there that one is at $41.99. Same with Marvel Ultimate Alliance at $41.99. Doom Eternal is down to $23.99. The ever-present Elder Scrolls Skyrim down to $29.99. Astral Chain at $41.99. Daemon X Machina, $41.99. The Castlevania Advanced Collection, that is an absolute steal at $15. Same with Hades at $17.49. We also have Cuphead at $13.99, and I really enjoyed my time with The Messenger when that released. That one is $7.99. And since these are all digital games, I did notice that a lot of SD cards are currently on sale through Amazon Prime shipped. Like, for example, you can see this, the 400 gigabyte SanDisk Ultra, that's down to $38.99. Do you remember when we were talking about these 400 gigabyte SD cards back like years and years ago and they were hundreds of dollars? It's kind of funny to look back on some of these now because they have the 512 gigabyte on sale for $55, and they even have the 1 terabyte on sale at $110. I always like to take advantage, specifically when it comes to storage options on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, as they always appear to get marked marked down pretty heavily, but of course, it's always great to see games on sale, so let me know what your best picks are from the list. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about some of the PlayStation Plus games that appear to have leaked out a bit early for December. We can head over here. This posted up by D-Labs, and we can see at the top, Godfall on the PS5 and PS4. Then we have Mortal Shell on the PS4, and then Lego DC Supervillains on the PlayStation 4. It looks like I held out on Godfall just long enough to claim it from PlayStation Plus and then probably not download and play it for a long time. This is one of those games, I remember early on with the PS5, when it first came out, I kept looking at it and I was like, should I get this game? I don't know, it doesn't look that compelling. The review scores weren't exactly backing it up or anything. So I held off, there were sales, I held off, and here we are now finally. It's on PlayStation Plus, so that great. Then Mortal Shell is an interesting one that I have seen from time to time, and like I said, you really can't go wrong with any of the Lego DC Supervillains or Lego games in general. DC Supervillains is actually one I have not checked out, and so for me, this is actually a pretty good month just because I don't really have any of these games. Who knows, maybe I will fire up Godfall just to see what that game is all about. But at the very least, they're PlayStation Plus titles, so you may as well go through and at least add them to your library. These are the current leaked rumored ones, but every month it seems like they leak out a couple of days early, so I would expect Sony to announce these officially probably next week. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, pick the best RPG of the year from the Game Awards nominations. Cyberpunk 2077 came in at 19%. Tales of Arise came in at 16%. Cyberpunk beat Tales of Arise? Out of all the polls that I've posted, this is the one that's making me question things, I will admit. Shin Megami Tensei 5 at 37%, Monster Hunter Rise at 23%, and then Scarlet Nexus, ooh, 5% for Scarlet Nexus, wow. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5, 37%. I've been playing more and more Shin Megami Tensei 5. It is, as people have said, the more mature Pokemon game, I guess, more difficult Pokemon style game. I mean, it's a very good game, but I did really like Tales of Arise, so that's kind of a toss-up for me still. Shin Megami Tensei 5 or Tales of Arise. I mean, really, you can't go wrong with either. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from PR saying, Chrono Cross will be amazing. I haven't played it since I bought it back in 1999, or was it 2000? We need Brave Fencer Musashi, Parasite Eve, Vagrant Story, Einhander, and of course, Chrono Trigger on the Switch. I don't mind if the Chrono Trigger is a straight SNES port, but a remaster that stays true to the original would be amazing. That's the best part about that generation. Like the mid 90s to like the early 2000s, there were so many odd and interesting games coming out, specifically RPGs. They were all over the place. Like Monster Rancher, I know they technically brought that up to the Switch. Not the same though, because back then you had to take the disc out, put a music CD in, and then it would spit out based on the tracks and the length of each track, a different monster that you would then raise and battle. There were so many cool ideas back then that I looked through the comments based around the Chrono Cross stuff being remastered. Everyone had different suggestions. What a golden age in gaming for RPGs. And ladies and gentlemen, that's good to hear for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike, leave comments down below. But everything we talked about here today was Halo Infinite and their progression system currently, specifically around the event that they're running now. Let me know if you're playing it and your thoughts on it. And then also, what about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl having a massive opening week in Japan? We'll find out more about how it did in the US next month with the MPDs, but are you surprised that Pokemon actually sold? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.